So in this lesson, we're going to walk through the same process, but in Procreate 5. So the first step you need to do is to import your logo to your canvas. The current canvas is 2000 pixels by 2000 pixels. To import an image, you can do setting or actions and add and insert a photo. Just a couple of things that you need to pay attention to. First is that your logo has to be on a transparent background. If it is a JPEG, it won't work because we need to isolate. Basically, let me just turn off the background color. As you can see, we want your logo to stand alone on its own layer. So once you're able to do that, we want to change the color to white. So the easiest way to change the color to white is to click on the thumbnail here and click on Alpha Lock. So it will lock all the painted pixels. And you click on the color dot and go back to white. And then click on the thumbnail again and click on fill layer. That will basically color all the painted pixel to the active color, which is white. And now we want to export this as a pane, which is PNG. So actions, share, and PNG. And you can just save it to your iPad. Click on Save Image. And that's done. So we don't even need the layer anymore. I'm just going to delete it and turn the background color back on. I do want to turn off the Alpha Lock. So just uncheck the check mark. And now we want to create a new brush. So click on the brush over here. And in whatever folder you want, click on the plus sign over here. By default, it will look something like this. The first thing we want to do is to go to Shape, which is the third option here, and click on Edit, right on top of the shape source. This is pretty hidden in the Procreate 5. I don't know if there will be future improvement. So basically, you click on Import, and import a photo. That will pull up the latest photo should be the one you just saved. Click on it. It just shows up as a white square. That's because it's white on white. So no big deal. Just click on it and you will see your logo on a black background. That's what we want. Click on Done. So there are a couple of things that we need to fix before we can call it a logo stamp. So click on the stroke path, the first option, and turn the spacing all the way up because ultimately we just need one logo per artwork. We don't want a bunch of logos sitting right next to each other. That's why we want as much space as possible. And then if you want some grain, you can change the grain source, but white is fine because it will give me a crisp look. And you want to turn on the Use Stamp Preview. Basically, this will allow you to preview your logo from the brush library. And you want to turn the maximum size all the way up in case your canvas is super large and your logo needs to be relatively big. It doesn't have to have that size limitation. One more thing we want to change before we try it out is to come over to Apple Pencil setting. And the second option, which is called opacity, I think by default is turned all the way up. I don't want that. I want my logo to be constantly in full strength. If I turn on the opacity, sometimes if I'm not pressing it hard enough, in other words, if the pressure is too low, it will not appear in full opacity. As you can see, I'm varying my pressure a little bit as I'm drawing here. This is very light, medium, and hard. I don't want that kind of variation, so I can fix that by turning my opacity all the way down. In that way, no matter how light I'm tapping on the screen, it will still show whatever brush I'm using for strength. You do have the option of naming your brush. You can come over to About This Brush and tap on the Made By and put in your name and your signature. And you can create a new reset point. Basically means that whenever you made certain changes and you want to revert it back, and you can reset from there. I'm just going to click on done to test my brush. My first impression is that the preview is not very accurate. So I'm going to go back and fix it under properties and just turn the preview down. If I can offer a bit of feedback for Procreate, I would love to see the preview of my stamp live as I'm sliding down over here. I'm just going to leave it to maybe 19% and click on done. It's not too bad. It shows the gist of the stamp. All right, let's test it. The first thing I want to do is to give it a different color and adjust the size and just tap on my screen lightly. Awesome. Now we have a brush created in Procreate 5.